Very good evening. Welcome to Championship Live here on LFS this Friday evening. And Championship Fridays are back once again as we kick off match week 7 of the EFL Championship campaign. And tonight we're at the Hawthorns as West Brom Albion, who have lost their last 2 league games after winning their first 3 of their first 4. They're looking to bounce back tonight, and they take on a Leicester City side who are also winless in their last 2 games in the Championship. So both sides need to get back to winning ways, and we'll see which one of them can do it under the Hawthorns lights tonight. And certainly 2 very capable sides of finding ways to win. Ryan Mason's West Brom and that 1-0 defeat to Derby last time they were at the Hawthorns. Leicester City, a couple of draws in their recent games under Marty Cifuentes. It's been a real stop-start beginning to the campaign for Leicester. But of course the objective for the Foxes is very clear, a first-time return to the Premier League. Let's have a look at match day 7 in completion then. 11 games taking place tomorrow throughout Saturday afternoon. A couple of lunchtime kickoffs. As you can see, West Brom Leicester is our evening game tonight. Coventry take on Birmingham in that one. That is at 12:30 tomorrow alongside Swansea Millwall. That is a very intriguing game there at the Swansea.com Stadium. And Wrexham hosting Derby County. A very interesting lunchtime fixtures. Blackburn head to Charlton. Ipswich host Portsmouth. Sheffield United continually on a terrible run to the start of the season. 6 defeats in 6. And Chris Wilder's back for a 3rd time at Sheffield United, and they head to Oxford United. That is tomorrow at 3. Preston host Bristol City. QPR head to Sheffield Wednesday. Southampton face Middlesbrough, who top the table, of course, Middlesbrough. Norwich away to Stoke, and Watford take on Hull. A quick look at the table and how it looks coming into this weekend. As I said, Middlesbrough top of the table, 5 wins and a draw from their first 6 league games. That's 16 points. For them. Stoke are in the top 2. They're on 12 points. Best of the rest, really, at the minute. It's a very tight top half of the table there. As you can see, 2 points separating 2nd and 10th in that one. Bristol City, Leicester, Preston and Coventry make up the top 6 this evening. West Brom are in 7th on 10 points. Birmingham, QPR and Millwall all inside that top 10. If we go down to the bottom of the championship table then for you and show you what that looks like. There we are. Sheffield United, as you can see, right at the very bottom. 6 defeats out of 6. Sheffield Wednesday, not much better than them. 2 Sheffield clubs right at the rock bottom of the table. They're on 4 points. Derby in the bottom 3 on 5 points, with Watford and Oxford just hanging above that relegation zone on goal difference. Right, that is the way the championship season has struck so far, and we are ready for another display tonight of some great footballing talent and quality from these 2 football teams. Let's have a look at our match focus for this game tonight. West Brom have lost each of the last 5 league matches against Leicester. That stretches back to March of 2018. Leicester have won their last 6 away league games against West Brom, with each win coming under a different manager. They win tonight, that will be 7 under 7 different managers. West Brom lost their last home game, as I said, against 1-0 to Derby last time out, but haven't lost consecutive home league games since October of 2022, have the Baggies. But Leicester, also mentioned this, they're winless in their last 2 league games, but the last time they went winless in 3 consecutive league matches in the Championship was between February and March of 2024. Let's have a look at the 2 teams then for tonight's game. And West Brom start with Griffiths in goal. A back 4 of Campbell, Phillips, Mepham and Taylor. In midfield, and at defensive midfield is Jason Malumbi and Alex Mowat. Isaac Price is in the 10. Mikey Johnson off the right, Junior off the left, and Hegebo leading the West Brom line tonight. On the bench, Wildsmith, Gilchrist, Bielik, Styles, Bostock, Diakite, Collier, Wallace and Josh Maja. For Leicester City, Stelarczyk starts in goal, a back 4 of Ricardo Pereira, Wout Faes, Yannick Vestergaard and Luke Thomas. Boubakary Soumare is alongside Harry Winks in midfield. Then James is in the 10. Abdul Fatawu off the right, Steffi Mavididi off the left, and Jordan Ayew leading the Leicester line. On the bench, Begovic, Okoli, Christiansen, Decordova-Reid, Chowdhury, Skip, Monga, Daka, and Carenza. It is two sides who will look to improve what has been a pretty poor recent form for these two teams. West Brom were unbeaten in their first four, but 2 defeats in their last 2 means they need a quick return to winning ways. Leicester winless in their last 2, but something's got to give tonight surely. Under the lights at the Hawthorns, kickoff between West Brom and Leicester is next. Very good evening and welcome to Championship Live this Friday evening. Great to have you with us for this one. It is a great display of footballing action for you tonight, and we can't wait to bring it to you. Two sides with a lot of promise and a lot of good attacking quality. None other than that man, Abdul Fatawu, who is able to pull anything out of the bag when they need it for Leicester. One of their quality, talented players. And we'll see if he can produce something magical tonight for the Foxes. But of course, Ryan Mason tasting defeat in his last 2 games as the West Brom boss. It's not how they started the campaign, and they'll be hoping that they can get back to winning ways fairly quickly here this evening. And Marty Cifuentes, we've watched his side once or twice already this season. We watched them in that 2-0 win over Birmingham at the King Power a few weeks ago. And we talked about how that night they weren't at their best, but they still got the job done. They still got the 2-0 victory and the 3 points and the clean sheet. And a better Birmingham side on that day could have got something out of that game. But again, you can only beat the opposition that's in front of you. And that's the task that these two have up against them tonight. West Brom, of course, in their navy and white home strip. Leicester in their third kit this evening of pink shirts and black shorts. Albeit it is only match day 7 of 46. But of course, these matchups early in the campaign, we said it earlier in the season, when you look back on these early season matchups and who gets the 3 points, they could be crucial as to who gets automatic promotion and maybe playoff places. As we get underway then, Leicester get us going here in the Black Country. West Bromwich Albion, a very promising side this season, but Derby were able to hold them out here in their last home occasion. I'll throw in down the right hand side there, put it by Chris Mepham. Down that right hand side as Leicester look to try and get the ball down to feet and get their passing game going early. Vestergaard to Thomas, swings it down that left channel, but far too much on it for Jordan Ayew to get anywhere near, and that will go right back behind for the West Brom keeper Josh Griffiths to take a goal kick from. And of course, as I said, it is still early in the championship season, but as I said, you don't want to really give up too much too early, especially in Leicester's position of wanting to make that swift return to the Premier League. They want to kind of assert themselves. Middlesbrough have done that early in the season. Somehow, quite surprisingly, Stoke have jumped their way up the table, winning 4 of their first 6 games. No disrespect to Stoke, but quite unexpectedly prior to the season getting underway. Bristol City back up there again. It's the consistency we see of Bristol City. And you certainly don't want to lose ground early when you're these two teams who will have realistic hopes of pushing for playoffs and maybe Leicester automatic promotion or even the title. That's a lovely little touch in between the lines there from Fatawu, who was brought down. That's going to be a free kick given away there by Jason Malumbi. And a free kick to Leicester inside 2 minutes. As I said, all the stats coming into the game. As Fatawu tries to whip a cross in from that right side, it's blocked and cleared away by West Brom, but to no one but this Leicester goalkeeper Stolarczyk to retrieve. And Leicester have a very good record against West Brom. Actually, the last time West Brom beat Leicester in any league game was when they were both in the Premier League back in the 16-17 season. and it was when they beat them at the King Power by 2-1 in that Premier League season, when Leicester were the Premier League champions at that point. They were the reigning Premier League champions. The last time West Brom won at home against Leicester was all the way back in 2010, when they beat them 3-0 in the Championship in April of 2010. As Ayew's made a run in behind here, Jordan Ayew! Low and hard across the box, puts it wide. Decent opportunity, decent ball in behind. And Ayew just made the run off the back of the defender. We'll see this again. It's down that right-hand side, and it's Fatawu. Plays it first time around the corner. Ayew keeps himself on side, and then just gets the better of the defender on this side in Nat Phillips. He was forced in to try and block him, and he just probably does enough there, Phillips, to put him off. A clean strike, and it's just dragged wide of the left post by the Leicester number 9. But a positive display of attacking quality there from a very experienced centre-forward in Jordan Ayew. But as I was saying about West Brom's last real victory at home against Leicester, could it be a good omen if they get it tonight? Because as I said, the last time they beat Leicester at home in that same season, West Brom got automatic promotion to the Premier League. 91 points they finished on in that 9-10 season, winning 26 of their 46 games. And that 3-0 victory over Leicester was one of those 26. Here is Nat Phillips. Right to the right-hand side. A bit of pressure there on Campbell, but he does well with a nice pirouette spin. And couldn't keep the possession, but nicely retrieved by Malumbi, who plays it back to his goalkeeper. Starting to see a bit more of West Brom possession. Maybe in their own half, as Mowat carries it forward down that left-hand side. Linking up there with Taylor, the left-back. Malumbi, Mowat, Phillips. Nice crisp passing from West Brom. As Junior there tries to through the inside pass, and he's just kind of telegraphed it really loosely. Harry Winks can just retrieve for Leicester, but it's a decent move from West Brom in between the lines, but a little bit of a wasted pass by Samuel Elling Jr. And Samuel Elling Jr. starting off the right-hand side tonight. Mikey Johnson off the left of that forward line. That's a nice hold-up there. And a flip ball in from Ricardo Pereira. It's cleared away. He's got the shot off again there as it was blocked. And the free kick's going to go the way of West Brom, as there was an elbow involved in there, says our referee this evening, Stephen Martin. 155th game in the Championship as a referee. His first game this season where he's refereed either of these two teams. Vestergaard. 6 minutes gone here at the Hawthorns. Still goalless. Not much goal-mouth action so far, but Leicester have seemed the more fruitful. Jordan Ayew, nice close control there in a very tight space, and was challenged as he was already off balance, and it's Malumbi. And that's going to be a free kick to Leicester. Getting in those tight areas, very congested in that central space, and Jordan Ayew using his footwork to evade challenges, and then was, as off balance, knocked to the ground, said the referee. Here's Mavididi. Takes a run at the full-back, and Campbell lifts one to the back post, and it's over the head of two Leicester players in the mix there, in Ricardo Pereira and Abdul Fatawu. And a bit of pressure here on West Brom to clear their lines, of which they do through Taylor. And that goes out for a Leicester throw on the far right side. Again, not really got going at the moment. The home side, 62% of the possession has been in the middle third of the field, which shows that both sides just trying to get to grips with each other, trying to figure out their own passing lanes, to figure out where they can try and find a way through the opposition. That was a little bit of a late lunge there on that occasion by Hegebo, and just tried to get to the ball. You can see he was trying to win the ball and he's just a little bit too excited. They're the West Bromwich Albion centre forward. Here's Vestergaard as they again play it around the back here, Leicester. Bless me. Couldn't help it there. Had to mute myself. You don't want to be hearing that type of stuff. Anyway, we move on. Mavididi. Thankfully, Leicester did kick the ball forward there and they got in a decent space, but they did nothing with it with Jordan Ayew. West Brom clearing their lines comfortably there on that occasion. They do have that thread in between the lines. Lovely little one-touch passing as Mavididi's effort to find the inside runner of James wasn't quite found, and nicely cut out by Nat Phillips. But again, West Brom just surrendering the possession early doors. 68% of the ball have been possessed by Leicester, 32% for West Brom. And speaking of overhit passes, that was a massively overhit one from Jordan James there, trying to switch it out to that far right side for Fatawu. Went sailing into the stand behind that sideline. Well, expect a close battle between these two. They don't often concede many goals, but 5 goals conceded for Leicester so far this season, 6 for West Brom. And here they come on the break here. Nice little jink. He's got him behind, and it's a finish into the bottom right corner. The keeper didn't go full stretch, and West Brom do take the lead. Barely in the game in the first 9 minutes, and they've broke the front with their first shot of the night, and the home crowd are not going to see a blank like they did the last time they were here to watch their team. And West Bromwich Albion, Samuel Illing Jr., lovely little close control, beats past the defender, and a one-on-one with the goalkeeper, sits him down, has no chance, the keeper. Into the bottom right corner, lovely little direct ball, laid off by Hegebo, and then Samuel Illing Jr. on the run, just completely sends Wout Faes to his knees. Not a chance for the defender. And Stolajic, really half-stretched, really. Tried to get there, kind of awkwardly fell the goalkeeper. Really good finish by Samuel Illing Jr. That's what he's got in his locker, and it's just real quality. It's not the most blistering of shots, but what it is a really quality finish and really accurately made. And that's his first for West Bromwich Albion, and what a beautiful individual goal from him. It all started with Hegebo, but he created that himself, and Samuel Illing Jr. has an opener for West Bromwich Albion. You gotta say, Leicester had started the better of the two teams, the more aggressive of the two teams, but and probably had the best chance of the game up until the goal with Jordan Ayew. But that's one moment of individual quality that sets West Brom apart at the moment, and it's got Leicester's backs up a little bit here as they break down the right. Ricardo Pereira works it back, the chip ball into the box. It's kept alive, but scrambled away there in the middle by Malumbi. West Brom now with a lead. Their first shot of the game, and the first shot on target of the game. We talk about putting down markers, although it's early in this game, very early in this game. If they go on to win this, West Brom, they will jump up to second ahead of tomorrow's action in the Championship. Jump up to second, which will be a way to get back to winning ways. It will be a statement victory for them. As I said, it will be the first time in almost 15 years that they've beaten Leicester at home in the Championship anyway. And that would be a statement. There's a long way to go, and it was just a bit of individual quality and brilliance, really, from Samuel Ulling Jr. Real direct ball into Hegebe, and then he just reversed it round the corner for Ulling Jr. to make the run. And he still has so much to do before he has the shot. Carries the ball forward with composure and quality, doesn't give away a heavy touch, doesn't do something silly, doesn't go wide, isn't dragged wide. He just stays central, runs directly at the defence, and then when a defender in Wout Fast gets committed, he is completely nowhere near it. Lovely little bit of skill with his feet, the close control, and then the finish into the bottom right corner. Really quality goal, and a pure individual brilliance from Samuel Ulling Jr. And of course, what a way to score your first for West Bromwich Albion. Of course, made the move in the summer to West Brom. Of course, on loan from Aston Villa. He's been at Aston Villa for quite a few years. He's on loan at Middlesbrough last season, or at least for the latter half of last season, as here they come again. Johnston works it back inside, a little bit of a loose ball, and that's a little bit awkward that time from West Brom, and Mavadidi's trying to use his individual quality as he does to win a free kick in the West Brom half, but it's a loose touch further forward. Trying to see who it was that maybe took that loose touch for West Brom, and it's just a little short crossfield pass, and just allowed allowed Leicester to break away and get on that counter. Mavadidi unleashing his skills, as we know so well, and wins Leicester a free kick. Well, for Leicester, it's all about just bouncing back into this game now. They had the better of the start. They created a really good chance, and they've whipped the ball in here, cleared away off the head of Jordan Ayew, who was in there. Their main threat at the moment for Leicester is Thomas recycles back and plays it back to his goalkeeper, as billowing down on the goalkeeper was Isaac Price, but nicely dealt with by Stolarczyk. Nicely won back by West Brom. Update you from around the grounds. In the Bundesliga, Bayern are now 2-0 up against Werder Bremen. Harry Kane with the second goal for Bayern this evening. Luis Diaz got the opener for Munich. There's Malumbi there. Jink pass by Harry Winks, and that's going to be a free kick to Leicester. Here's a break down the right hand side here for Fatawu, skipping past defenders for fun. He gets to the byline. He's going to lift it into the box, and Mavadidi threw himself at that one, but it was well defended by Campbell, who tracked him inside. That was better from Leicester. Again, showing the qualities of Abdul Fatawu again. He just skipped past 2 or 3 defenders in one go and put a lovely ball into the box. .16 minutes gone. West Brom 1, Leicester City 0. Nice hold up by Ayew, who was bundled over, but the referee says play on. Harry Winks out wide to Fatawu. Back to Winks. Now Fass alongside Vestergaard. Winks out wide to Fatawu, hugging the touchline on the right hand side. Tries to play it past his man and Taylor, but it's kept alive. Nice little recovery there from Ricardo Pereira, as Vestergaard was sold down the river by his teammate. Although they've come away with the ball somehow. Soumare there trying to jink through, and it was sent flying away by the West Brom defence. But again, Leicester a little bit sloppy there in possession. It was a really awful ball by Wout Fast. Undercooked it to his centre-back partner in Vestergaard. He had to slide in and chaos a little bit and shoot after that. Ultimately, West Brom able to mop it up, but that's a lovely hold up by Ayew. Winks, nice turn by James, lays it out wide to Mavadidi. Chops onto his right foot. Tries to reverse it in behind, but Campbell was there to block it. And then Illing Jr. gets on the ball, and he was fouled by Steffi Mavididi. Free kick to West Brom. Mavididi there was the one that gave the ball away, but he made sure he wasn't going to get tested, or his team weren't going to get tested anyway by Illing Jr. again. At least not for now, anyway. Here's Campbell. Back to Nat Phillips. Alongside Mepham, who works it out to the left channel. Mikey Johnson, not seen much of him so far down that left-hand side as he chops onto his right foot. Inside he comes, but has the quality of Alex Mowat to win it back for West Brom as he'd lost it there. And now Illing Jr. down the right-hand side here for the Baggies. Held it up well to Price, who tried to get onto that, but seen out by Mavididi for a West Brom throw. Bidding around, Isaac Price got off the marker there. Took the throw in before anybody else could claim for it. And look at the stats so far. Leicester's possession has only grown 74% to 26 of West Brom, but West Brom one shot on target, 1 goal. Leicester 3 shots, 0 on target so far. So certainly a clinical moment from Ryan Mason's team, and most specifically Samuel Illing Jr. Of course, all around he'll want more from his team. That's a lovely little win back, and Mowat sends Hegebe on the move. He's got Mikey Johnson to his left. Hegebe feeds him in. Mikey Johnson took a touch, carried him wide a little bit. He's kept it alive. Johnson trying to work an angle. Feeds it out to Taylor, who switches it to the back post, and Price guides it across. And he was offside anyway, I think there. The flag's gone up against the Northern Irishman. It has. And that's a free kick to Leicester in their own box. See that again. It was a nice ball by Hegebe. Mikey Johnson's first shot just took him wide, and then Isaac Price, whether he was offside or was it Hegebe, but either way, Leicester did play the offside and the flag went up against Price. And quite coincidentally, it is Isaac Price's 22nd birthday today. So very happy birthday to Isaac Price. Of course, he has scored already this season for West Brom. Scored 2 goals in that 3-2 win over Wrexham at the Stoke Ras early in the campaign. Got the assist for the equalizer against Portsmouth here a few weeks ago as well, and scored the winner in that 1-0 win over Blackburn at the start of the season. So he produces and hasn't scored in his last 3 for West Brom. Although West Brom in that time have actually only scored 2 goals themselves. So Illing Jr. with a lovely first touch, but it's carried away from him. Vestergaard does well to mop it up, and Thomas sends it flying. He wanted a deflection, and he is going to get one. It's going to be a throw into Leicester, although Thomas was waiting to see what the assistant was going to say and what hand the flag was going to be in. Eventually it did go the way of the Leicester fullback, but I think if it didn't, I think Luke Thomas would have had a few words to say to the official on that side if it didn't. 21.5 minutes gone, and Leicester, despite starting the better, that goal's been a real sucker punch to them. Not really been able to create very much in the last few minutes. They've had a lot of possession, but not much penetrative possession. That's a lovely ball in behind though for Ayew, and it's a good ball, but nicely out was Griffiths. Spotted the bounce of the ball coming his direction, and he came and gathered quite comfortably and quite commandingly in his own box there, the West Brom keeper. It's a nice flick on by Hegebe, but a little too much for Illing Jr. to get to deal with. The Stalagic there got that one away just in the nick of time to Vestergaard. Fass. He will stride forward out to that left-hand side, finding Mavididi. Isaac Price dropping in alongside Campbell, but a nice 1-2 there between Mavididi and James. Sumari, James, back to Thomas. Inside to Winks. And fast now. Leicester trying to quicken up the pace of their passing. Fatawu down the right side. He's got Taylor and Johnson for company. Switches it back inside to Ricardo Pereira. And now out wide again to Fatawu. Pereira. Fast. Finding Sumari, who reverses it in behind. Nicely held up by Pereira. And the shot by James is taking a deflection, I think. And Jordan James gets a corner for Leicester. It's again really nice quality in between the lines, and it does take a deflection off Nat Phillips as he goes to block the ball. And Jordan James, a decent effort, and the deflection just saw it sail just over the crossbar, but it's better from Leicester. And they get a corner out of it, which Jordan James will take. Right-footed, out-swinger. Up and away by Phillips, who give away the corner, and the follow-up shots is whistled just wide from Harry Winks. Decent effort considering how tricky that can be. Came from such a high distance and had the keeper scrambling to the very last second. Phillips was charging out through his legs and bobbling just wide of the left post from the Leicester midfielder. Here come West Brom once again. Here's Taylor. Inside to Mowat. He works it back to Nat Phillips. To Campbell. Elling Jr. did well to get the ball and was caught there, but the referee says play on. As it's back to Elling Jr. with a bit of space now. Price on the outside. Nice little 1-2. Elling Jr. holding up the ball. He was bundled over, but fairly won back by Jordan James, said the referee, and tracking back all the way from the number 10 there, Jordan James. And he gets a lovely little out ball, but again, too much for Harry Winks to keep a hold of. And Malumbi comes away with it for West Brom. Eastack says only Hamza Chowdhury can save Leicester today. Well, Chowdhury on the bench for Leicester. Mikey Johnson chops onto his right foot. He's got options ahead of him. If he can find one of them, he's still going. As he switches it out to that right side. Elling Jr.'s there to pick it up. Back to Campbell. Malumbi. Really crisp football from West Brom. Side to side, waiting for the space to open up to play that through ball. Not forcing the issue at the minute. Phillips to Campbell. Nice reverse ball by Elling Jr., but too much for Malumbi to keep it alive. But Sumari's actually going to be penalised for a push in the back of the West Brom midfielder, and that's going to be a free kick to the Baggies, of which Boubakary Soumare claims his innocence, but the referee had already made up his mind. It was Malumbi that was fouled. A lovely little deft inside ball by Elling Jr. And Soumare, yeah, just a little nudge in the back. And now a free kick situation here for West Brom inside the Leicester half. 26 minutes gone. They lead by a goal to nil to the home side. Malumbi will take it, right-footed, it's deep. It's over the head of everybody in there. It's flicked away by a Leicester defender. Oh, they recycle it well, West Brom. Mikey Johnson told to shoot from about 35 yards out there, but decided the more sensible situation to pass it off. Play down the left-hand side here. Alex Mowat on the run. He looks to jink it up into the box. Cleanly cleared away by Ricardo Pereira, and a man went down there for West Brom, but the referee says play on. A little bit scrappy there from Leicester as they try to clear the lines. West Brom maybe growing into this game much more now. Got the lead and seem to be more comfortable on the ball in the last 5 minutes. This comes all the way back here to Griffiths. we talk about West Brom's defeats this season, they haven't been by major margins. They've been kind of fine games. That's a lovely ball in behind, but not a great touch by Illing Jr. Great ball. Again, over the back of the Leicester defence, and that right-hand side, a better touch, and they could have been in there again, West Brom. Yeah, it's just a beautiful ball over the top by Malumbi. And just if he took a better touch there, Illing Jr., it could have been a very good position. Just miscued it there. But the defeat to to Middlesbrough last time out for West Brom at the Riverside was just by 2-1 they lost, and the 1-0 defeat here against Derby, which they dominated really that game against Derby, but you always see one of those games every now and again where the team comes and gets one chance and scores. Quite ironically, the start of this game was exactly how that went for West Brom, although this time in their favour. They had 18 shots in that defeat to Derby here. 4 of them on target. Derby had 1 shot on target over the 90 minutes, which was their goal. Scored by Vyman in the 84th minute of that game. And it was enough to see West Brom beaten at home for the first and only time this season. Actually, their 3 home games have all registered different results. 1 win, 1 draw, and 1 defeat from their first 3 home games this season. Well, that's not a great defensive header there by Taylor. Here's Fatawu driving inside, wants to unleash a shot, and he just couldn't keep it down. Kind of scooped it with his left foot there, did Fatawu. And in the end, Leicester don't come away with a very good chance. It's a good block and good stop. And in the end, it's sailed over the crossbar. West Brom get away with it. Little break up there. 30 minutes gone here at the Hawthorns. West Brom 1, Leicester City 0. Chris T says, thanks for covering this championship match, mate. Yeah, we tried and cover as many championship games as possible, but it's difficult with the way my schedule works. It's difficult. Friday nights haven't recently, anyway, the last few weeks been available for me. And I love doing championship games. It's a little distraction away from the Premier League, but you're also getting really top quality football at times, and you know, you gotta say it's beautiful. That's a lovely ball in behind by Sumari here. James has gone wide to the left, works it back inside to Sumari. Again, West Brom, everybody back, not afraid to surround their boxes. Abdul Fatawu has a hopeful header at the back post, sailed over the crossbar. But yeah, we try and do the championship as best as possible. Of course, next week we won't be able to do it, because there's a Premier League game next Friday night. Bournemouth taking on Fulham, so that will take precedence, but we will of course keep an eye on the Wrexham-Birmingham game. Well, we try and do as many championship games as we can throughout the season. Just so happens scheduling has been an issue over the last few weeks. Very congested midfield again. Vestergaard, nice little ball through, but the block on Ricardo Pereira. He's won it back and finding Mavididi. Drifting into the box, lifts one in, and Ayew was the threat, and Ayew couldn't get a connection to the lifted ball in by Mavididi there. It's a good threat by the wide area, and Jordan Ayew knows that was a half chance to try and create something. In the end, seen out for a Leicester throw in the far side. 32 minutes gone, and West Brom haven't really had to do very much in this game. A moment of individual brilliance, but they haven't really tested the Leicester defence too much since. It's been a lot of Leicester possession. That's been the theme of the first half. Leicester having a lot of the ball, and West Brom maybe being a little bit hopeful with their play at times, and Leicester a little bit slow in possession, not being creative enough. Good work there from Malumbi to break away from a few. Campbell receives it back to Nat Phillips. We do have a stoppage here. The referee wasn't particularly happy with Jordan Ayew there, maybe. Yeah, free kick there was given to West Brom. I think Jordan Ayew just fouled someone off the ball there, and the referee wasn't having any of it. Had a quick word with Ayew, and West Brom get a quick free kick. Really good, intricate passing from West Brom inside their own half, and I think they need that a little bit, because it just stifles this game a little bit, makes Leicester a little less threatening, and of course keeping the visitors at bay for as long as possible is the objective tonight. But also trying to dominate the game and use their qualities. They've got a lot of good attacking qualities to West Brom, and attack and threat. They want to use that to their advantage tonight. And so far we've already seen one moment of quality. No doubt they can produce more. Here's Malumbi under pressure. Does well to get the ball to Isaac Price, who plays a lovely ball out to the left hand side here. Mikey Johnson keeps it down and whipped into the box. Up and away by Thomas as he brings it down. Does Price, he gets a chance to shoot. And the shot charged down and deflected behind for a West Brom corner. Again, Isaac Price always a threat when he's striding onto the ball, and that one just dropped for him in the right area. He was given the time and space to take the shot. In the end it was blocked from about 5 yards away from him, but he got the ball down and he had a go. And in the end, the deflection from the block turns into a West Brom corner, which Alex Mowat will come over and take their first corner of the game for West Brom tonight. Last 10 minutes of the first half. Mowat, left-footed, deep, headed away quite comfortably as the ball fizzed back out, and the shot was low and hard from range, but unable to test the Leicester goalkeeper Stalajic too much. You see it here. Decent effort by Malumbi, but the keeper was always favourite there, and he was on that occasion. And Leicester forcing the issue a little bit there. Campbell wins it back in a decent area. West Brom not too aggressive, waiting for the right moment again. Taylor on the halfway line, back to Mepham. Across now to Nat Phillips. Ling Jr. back to Campbell, who tried to do a little bit of skill past Mavididi, but maybe pays the price of the possession for that one. And Leicester have the ball back. We need to start testing Griffiths here a little bit more, do Leicester. As I said, not a shot on target yet for the visitors. Mavididi, that's a lovely ball in behind. James made a good run off the left. Back to Mavididi. Drifting into the box again. Steffi Mavididi waiting for the opportunity. Whips it to the back post again. And it's poked wide by Ricardo Pereira there, who broke down the right and wanted a corner. Did the Leicester right back. We see this again. It's a lofted ball in by Mavididi. Did it a bit earlier. This one a lot more lofted to the back post, and Ricardo Pereira battling with Taylor. And in the end, Ricardo Pereira thought that the last touch came off the defender and wanted a corner, and he didn't get one. And here, a nice break here for Hegeba. Hegeba with a shot! Blocked by Stalajic, who got his hands to that one, but that was another rare breakaway for West Brom, where they look to try and produce. Hegeba this time on the end of it. Ultimately, two hands there from Stalajic to deny him, but again, West Brom have that counter-attacking threat. As I said, with those individual quality of players, can produce. It is and will be a concern for Leicester. Here's Mavididi. He's skipping past players down the left channel, and as the ball was battling with Campbell, the ball's actually still in play, and Campbell's got back to his feet, but he's given the possession away cheaply. Thomas. Seven minutes of the first 45 to go here at the Hawthorns. West Brom 1, Leicester City 0, but that's not the full story. West Brom in moments on the breakaway, creating better chances, and Leicester with a lot of the possession, a lot of wasted possession at this minute in time, as Mikey Johnson on the nice turn there. Off the left hand side, he's got options, but he's got trouble as well in Ricardo Pereira, who tussled with him, and Pereira had the last touch there, which will get a throw in to West Brom down that left hand side. Through in here down the left, Taylor to take. Linking up with Johnson, but Taylor on the return ball, and that one knocked out of play as West Brom a bit too physical there. Was Chris Mepham for the referee's liking. And a free kick to Leicester. A reminder for you, we've Premier League action tomorrow lunchtime for you from the GTEC Community Stadium. Brentford hosting Man United there. The Brentford side pipped for relegation after what has been a topsy-turvy start and all the change of the summer, but they've not done too badly under Keith Andrews so far, but we'll see how they fare against the Man United side, who were quite easily set aside by Man City in the derby and then scraped their way past 10-man Chelsea after they went down to 10 as well. That crazy game last Saturday evening. Looking forward to that one. That's tomorrow lunchtime here on LFS. Here's Fatawu down the right hand side. He's got options to try and find in the middle, and put far too much power behind that cross. Sales behind for a goal kick. Again, that's what I mean about Leicester. They've been lacking quality in the top end of the pitch to just create enough good opportunities. And West Brom, just really good individual skill from Samuel Illing Jr. It's like the shot went in at slow-mo. A lovely touch by Hegaba around the corner. Illing Jr. sending Wout Faes onto his backside, dragging Luke Thomas and Sumari in, and just lets it roll into the bottom right corner. Stolarczyk with no chance. Trying to do a cartwheel there, the Leicester goalkeeper. That's what it seemed like. He didn't kind of stretch and jump for it. He kind of like spun himself towards the ball. He was nowhere getting near it, but I think for me, West Brom, when they've come forward, they've looked more potent when they get into the final third. They look more threatening when they get into those areas and creating more, certainly better opportunities. Leicester, I think, at the minute, are just too comfortable with possession, and when they do get into the final third, they can't kind of turn the switch on and up the tempo, up the pace all of a sudden to send a West Brom defender or create that little extra bit of space. I think at the minute, it's just a little bit basic from Leicester. And here's another example of it. Ayew couldn't keep himself onside there from that Vestergaard ball. It's quite obvious what was coming. And Jordan Ayew wasn't anticipating it just that quick enough. Or actually, was he onside? I think that's a bad call from the official there. I think he's on. There, Jordan Ayew's a bit unlucky that was called offside, and he's just onside for me. In the end, you win some, you lose some. 3 minutes to go in the first half, and I think at half time, the two managers, very clear who will be the happier by the scoreline, but I think both will want to see a little bit more from their teams. I think, albeit the fact that West Brom have taken the lead and have that advantage going into half time if they do hold on to this scoreline at the end of the half. But I think Ryan Mason will also want to see a little bit more from his team, certainly in possession, certainly being more dominant and pushing the ball up the field. I think he will say that his team have been pushed back too deeply, and we want to see his team push up a little bit more. For Leicester, I think really Mari Cifuentes will have to say to his team, I think you just need to be quicker. You just need to be more kind of sharp on the ball and use your pace, use your quality, use your skill in the wide areas, commit bodies, drag men out of position. At the minute, when Leicester do progress the ball forward, it's just a little bit too slow, and West Brom are sitting in shape, comfortable in their defensive shape, out of possession, and Leicester having to create unbelievable opportunities to get anywhere near the goal. At the minute, really, it seems like Leicester are a little bit kind of blunt, for want of a better phrase, blunt in that final third. That's a lovely ball by Taylor, although just a little bit away from Mikey Johnson, who was desperate to win the ball back, but fight fast there, was fouled, and Mikey Johnson's actually come off the worst of the two. But it is a free kick to Leicester. And Vote Fast is not too happy that Mikey Johnson's down, but I don't know why he's frustrated. He's got the free kick there, Vote Fast. Mikey Johnson kind of threw himself at the ball. I mean, see it here. Yeah, it's... I mean, he had to get there, and Fast does well, but Johnson maybe hurt the fact that it kind of skimmed his face as Fast cleared the ball, and at the end of the day, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But it was a free kick to Leicester. Mikey Johnson did kind of a little bit too overzealous. Thomas to Mavididi. Inside to Jordan James, and winks out to the far right hand side for Fatawu. West Brom dropping in deep, and Fatawu's cross hitting Mepham, and Malumbi back there as well to try and clear it away. As we will see, just 1 additional minute at the end of the first half then. 1 minute of the first half to go. Vestergaard trying to create something for Leicester just before the half. Nice ball out to Mavididi. Taken down as he tries to get past his man. Great defending from Campbell again. Steps in, although Samari slipped. Leicester do have the ball through Vestergaard again. Last few seconds of the half, if they can create something here. Referee's letting it go as Fatawi has the ball down the right side, and he whips a ball in! And that's cleared away. In the mix there. And that is the end of the first half. It was a decent delivery by Fatawu. It was a threatening one, but not in the end enough to really test West Brom in the goal, and they clear their lines comfortably before the half-time whistle goes. And it is West Brom who do lead at the break, and a beautiful little bit of individual play from Samuel Illing Jr. that has West Brom leading at the break. Half-time at the Hawthorns. It's West Bromwich Albion 1, Leicester City 0. Your one last kick. This is gonna be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this, and Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions, and there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal! Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me! That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and battered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. Welcome back to EFL Championship Live. Half-time at the Hawthorns. It's West Brom 1, Leicester City 0. At the break, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. It's great to have you all with us tonight, but if you could, it would be so great if you could press that like button. It would be greatly appreciated, because it really does help grow the channel and grow the stream, certainly, and gets more people involved, and the more the merrier, of course, here on the channel this Friday night. But thank you all for joining us this Friday evening and spending your Friday night with us here in LFS. It's great that you have decided that is your choice of viewing this evening, and certainly a decent first half, you've got to say, from this game that we have been treated to in the first 45 this evening in the Championship. West Brom leading by 1-0. That really lovely individual goal from Samuel Lilling Jr. that has given them that lead. And really, if there's one thing to take from that first half, West Brom were more threatening when they were coming forward. Certainly their attacks were less frequent and certainly less often than Leicester's in that first half. But I think when they did get forward, when they did progress the ball into the final third and certainly into Leicester's box, they were a lot more potent and a lot more kind of accurate, really, in those areas. You know, we analysed the first half. We compare the two teams stats-wise. You know, 4 shots for West Brom, 7 for Leicester. 3 of West Brom's 4 shots were on target. Leicester haven't had a shot on target just yet. Leicester, 5 of their 7 shots have been off target in that first half. So it shows their lack of quality and the lack of accuracy in the final third, and certainly in front of goal in that first half for Leicester. And I look at their opportunities. You know, the Samuel Lilling Jr. goal had a 0.10 XG chance, so it's still a difficult opportunity from how he created the ball, how he progressed the ball, and also where he took the shot from. According to stats and according to XG, still a difficult chance to produce a goal from. So it shows the quality of the goal from him. But overall, I think West Brom had a few half chances, a few half opportunities. Nothing other than the goal where you thought, oh, that should have been a goal, or that should have really given them a second goal. And I think it's a point that maybe West Brom have been more threatening when they've got into the final third, but again, not able to maybe find that second goal to give them a little bit more control or even a little bit more headroom. But I'd say, really, for Ryan Mason, it's still a positive in the fact that even when they haven't been playing anywhere near their best, West Brom, I think he would argue that probably they haven't been at their best in that first half, and I think he'll want to see more of his team in the second half and more of what he likes to see from his team in that second half. But I think overall, a positive first half for West Brom, and the fact that they've had so little amount of possession, especially when they scored. It was something like 25% possession they had at that stage of the game, so they were being penned in. They were hounded into their own kind of half for a lot of that first half, and they kind of needed moments from maybe Jason Malumbi or Alex Mowat to break the ball up in the central areas and give them those breakaway chances. Certainly for Leicester, it's been a game where they've had a lot of the ball, certainly dominated possession, and pushed West Brom back. They've done all that right. That's all good. But it's when they get into the final third, just that last pass or that last touch or that last moment hasn't been there from Leicester. And we're looking at crosses where they've worked it into the box. And that one is a little bit unfortunate for Ricardo Pereira in the fact that it probably could have been a better chance with a good cross. But I think they've created opportunities, Leicester. They just haven't been anywhere near accurate enough or shown enough quality in that area of the field to warrant a goal or warrant a real great goal-scoring chance. And I think, really, at the same time, when you aren't testing the goalkeeper, you can't really argue with the fact that you haven't scored. And that will be something that I am certain that Marty Cifuentes will want to see from his team. Be more aggressive, show more quality in the final third, and just be a little bit quicker. Because at times, we talk so often, and it's becoming such an obvious statement to make in football now. But it is so true so often. When teams have so much of the ball and create so little in front of goal. And it's one to the fact that teams are getting better at defending those sorts of situations. Teams are getting better at defending when they have so little of the ball. And dropping into shape and staying disciplined and keeping their shape and forcing players out wide and putting hopeful crosses in that really aren't going to create big chances for a lot of teams. And I think we see that a lot now, but also at the fact that maybe the team with the ball become too comfortable, become too complacent at times, and they're like, we'll just pop it around and recycle it. And they recycle it that much that they forget to actually be penetrative and up the tempo and change the tempo of the game and change the style of play and work it in between the lines and kind of drag people out of position. They become too comfortable with the ball in those areas and think, oh yeah, we're doing well here, we'll find a way through. When actually the clock's ticking down and you're not really creating too much. And I think that's sum up that first half. Leicester need to be quicker, they need to be more aggressive, and they need to show more quality in the final third. For West Brom, again, they need to show more on the ball. I think they've given the ball away cheaply a few times in that first half, and I think that will really annoy Ryan Mason in the fact that they don't want to give up cheap chances to such a good side like Leicester, who will create opportunities. There's no doubt they've got too much quality, Leicester, to not create opportunities. But I think what Ryan Mason won't want is his team giving up cheap options and cheap opportunities and maybe cheap chances to Leicester to try and give them a chance at getting back into the game. He'll want his team to be stronger, more physical, and kind of better with their passing, certainly in between the lines, but certainly in moments where they can push Leicester back and get themselves up the field on a more kind of consistent basis in that first half. If we look at where the possession has been a lot of that first half, 48% of the possession, so almost half of that first half play was in the central third of the field. 34% of it was in West Brom's final defensive third and 18% in Leicester's final third. So really the territory is edging towards it's a lot in West Brom's half and a lot in the central area of the field, not much in Leicester's half. And that's one where you can obviously see that Leicester are pushing up the field and dominating the territory a lot more than West Brom are. And I think Ryan Mason will want to see his side push up the field a little bit more and give Leicester a few more questions to answer in that second half, and certainly try and garner that momentum to try and find that second goal and give themselves more to be happy about. But what they have been good at in the final third is their passes in the final third. West Brom, they've been accurate in those. 81% of their passes in the final third have been accurate. 22 out of 27. Leicester's is 80%, but Leicester have had 94 passes in the final third. 75 of those have been accurate. So really, West Brom are in the final third a lot less, passing a lot less in the final third, but certainly their accuracy is still showing up as competitive. Again, 50-50 in the duels, 50-50 between the ground and the aerial duels in that first half. So it is a fairly evenly matched game in that aspect, but it's Leicester getting a lot less out of their possession than West Brom at this moment in time. And that really just comes down to the pace and the quality on the ball. And that's what differs the two sides. And a bit of individual skill is the difference between these two teams at half-time. I think if we to really take the individual quality out of it, this would be a dead centre, very even game between these two teams. And it's not often that either side gives up too many goals or really loses a game by a major margin. We look at West Brom this season, they haven't lost any games, so the games that they have lost, the 3 games that they've lost, quite ironically, 2 of those were at home to Derby, but we'll not go there. All 3 games they've lost this season, West Brom, have been by 1 goal or on penalties, so they don't lose by big margins often. For Leicester, same applies. The 2 games they've lost this season have been a 1-goal loss to Preston and a penalty shootout loss to Huddersfield in the Carabao Cup. So there's not much. When these two teams play, irrespective, they don't often there's not much parity between them and their opponents. They've actually won by more than 1 goal just once this season, Leicester, and we watched that, the 2-0 victory over Birmingham. West Brom, very similar. They actually haven't won by more than 1 goal at any point this season. All 3 of their wins have been by the odd goal. So it's very tight games when these two play, and that first half certainly played out that way. And we'll see what the second half has on offer, because that's coming up very, very shortly here. Do stay with us for the second half. West Brom 1, Leicester 0. But can Leicester fight back? We'll see. The second half's on the way next. Welcome back to Championship Live. Half-time, it is West Brom 1, Leicester 0. That is the look at match day 7 this weekend of the EFL Championship. Let's have a quick look around Europe this evening on Friday night. You see a lot of Friday night games in Europe. La Liga, Girona 0, Espanyol 0 at half-time. Late in that second half between Bayern Munich and Werder Bremen, Bayern are now 3-0 to the good. Luis Diaz and Harry Kane were the first two. Or actually, the goal has been given to Jonathan Tah. Luis Diaz was credited earlier in the game. Jonathan Tah has now been credited with that first goal. Harry Kane scored the second from the penalty spot, and the third is scored by Harry Kane. For Bayern Munich, Strasbourg are leading Marseille by a goal to nil. Marseille, who beat PSG last weekend in Liga, and they are losing by a goal to nil to Marseille at the moment. And in the Irish Premiership, it's Bangor 0 and champions Linfield 2-0 in the second half there. Kieran Offord and Matthew Fitzpatrick with the 2 goals there. Right, the players coming out for the second half, but before we tell you about that, a reminder that tomorrow we have a Premier League game for you tomorrow lunchtime on LFS. Brentford hosting Manchester United. That's tomorrow 12:30 on LFS. Right, the second half on the way in just a moment here at the Hawthorns. West Brom leading by a goal to nil. A win as it stands that would take them up to second in the table ahead of tomorrow's action, but they could find themselves as low as 6th by the end of tomorrow's action, depending on results elsewhere. Or actually, could be even lower, depending on goal difference as well. But again, back to winning ways would be a positive for Ryan Mason's team, as I said, after they've lost their last 2 league games, Middlesbrough and Derby. The 2 teams to have defeated them this season. And they're going to make a half-time change. Are Leicester. It's going to see Jordan James replaced by Julian Carranza. So Carranza on for James at the break. Interesting decision there from Marty Cifuentes, who probably feels he can get more out of his team. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. As you can see, we're very close to 30,000 subscribers. If you could help us on that journey, that would be greatly appreciated. Of course, West Brom kicking from right to left in the second half. Leicester from left to right. And that tweak at half-time. What will that do to Leicester? For Carranza coming onto the field. How will West Brom defend him, and how will Leicester try and get him into the game to create the difference? As we underway for the second half here at the Hawthorns, under the lights on a Friday night for these two teams. Leicester have no strangers to Friday night games recently. As I said, that Leicester-Birmingham game a few weeks ago that we watched at the end of August was under the Friday night lights at the King Power. They won by 2-0 that night. Although here West Brom in behind. Isaac Price pokes it across. Hegeba was down, wanting a foul. But the referee says no, and Stalajic retrieves for Leicester. A little bit scrambly there. Yeah, Hegeba was involved and felt that he was fouled. Isaac Price got the ball into the box, but the centre forward was already on the floor by the time the ball found him. The referee saw no foul, neither did the assistant, so play on. But as I was saying about Leicester, that 2-0 victory against Birmingham was on the Friday night, and the opening weekend of the season we remember watching Leicester winning by 2-1 against Sheffield Wednesday early in the campaign. So the other win they had was away to Charlton. That's a good touch by Mavididi. Chops onto his right foot, cuts inside and was challenged, but challenged late there, says the referee, by Malumbi. Or not Malumbi, it was Nat Phillips, sorry, and he's going to get himself a yellow card for that. Is the West Brom centre back. Yeah, he was just sliding in a little bit late there, Nat Phillips, but yeah, the ball was already gone. Did he get a touch to that? It looked like he might have. Mavididi made more of a meal of it than he needed to there, in my opinion, and that's Nat Phillips' second yellow card of the season for that challenge. This could be an opportunity early in the second half for Leicester. A free kick just to the left-hand side. Around about 23, 24 yards out. Vestergaard and Ayew are over it. I don't think Vestergaard's going to take it. And Jordan Ayew is certainly going to take it. And Griffiths, who hasn't been tested by Leicester at all tonight, might be tested here. From exactly 25 yards out for Jordan Ayew. Slightly to the left. Can he beat Griffiths from this distance? He's missed a couple of chances tonight already, Jordan Ayew. Right-footed, hits the wall. That was built very well by Griffiths. As the ball whipped back in by Winks, and it's headed right at the goalkeeper by Yannick Vestergaard. Better from Leicester, but again, West Brom able to ride that little bit of an awkward moment. A good dominant header there by Vestergaard, but straight into the ground. And a comfortable one in the end for Griffiths to deal with, as Vestergaard under pressure there from Isaac Price, and he tries to spin away from pressure there. Vestergaard spins it out of play for a throw to West Brom. Good pressing by Price. Taylor back to Griffiths, working it to Phillips, out wide to Campbell. Nice first time ball to Malumbi, who was pressured and ball taken away from him, but he had cover from Alex Mowat to help out. Malumbi again on the half turn, spins away from a challenge, feeds the ball to Price now. West Brom on the move. Price Lovely through ball here from the left from Illing Jr. to Mikey Johnston, who tries the cross, and it takes a block at the near side, although the referee, the officials say goal kick. Yeah, again, good counter-attacking possession again from West Brom. It's started by Malumbi, feeds it into Price. Price finds Illing Jr., who comes inside nicely, works it out wide to Mikey Johnston, who tries to whip that cross in, and it wasn't a great cross. Terrible cross by Mikey Johnston. I thought that took a deflection as it kind of ballooned its way away from goal. And in the end, it was just a poor touch and a poor delivery. Ayu. Sumari. To Fast now. A little bit more energy in the second half from these two. Like to see it. More open game for Tawu. Tries to fire it in behind. And blocked on this side by Taylor. Charlie Taylor, who's had a little bit of a difficult night so far against Abdul Fatawu. No damage done. The Winks with a deep cross in. Finding Mavadidi, who took the touch at the back post, but wasn't on the same page as his teammate there. In Carranza. Fatawu. Back to Vestergaard and reversed by Sumari. Carranza, now Mavadidi. Flips it over the top. Sumari continued his run. Takes it down on the right. Finding Mavadidi. Going to dribble his way towards the box. Lifts it high to the back post. And just too far away from Abdul Fatawu, but a little bit better from Leicester. Took his time eventually getting the cross in Mavadidi, but he did whip it. Lofted it, stood it up to that back post, and it's a little bit too heavy for Fatawu to get near, and goes behind for the goal kick. As Griffiths sends flying forward. Hagabert winning that header, or at least getting the bounce. And Mikey Johnston now breaking forward here for West Brom. Rolls it out wide. The sliding challenge. Takes it behind for a goal kick off Malumbi. Vestergaard tested there on that occasion. Malumbi made that run forward to try and threaten. Again, it was better from West Brom. Again, Leicester try and break forward, but one back fairly down that right-hand side. Here is Mikey Johnston. Nice little 1-2 link up there. That's a lovely ball. Fed him behind. Lofted across the near post, but the crowd thought it was caught behind the line there by Stelagic, but the official on that side didn't see nothing wrong with it. Leicester come away with the ball. Sumari. Heavy touch there by Winks and easily retrieved by the West Brom defender there in Chris Mepham. Quite a little bit more energetic in the second half so far. Mikey Johnston and Samuel Illing Jr. just switched sides to start the second half. Johnston on the right side and Illing Jr. on the left. They were in opposing sides in the first half. And so far Mikey Johnston's caused a little bit of a threat down that right hand side in these first 8 minutes of the second half. Campbell to take this throw in down the right. Touch taken in by Price as he works it back to Phillips and now Mepham. Space here for West Brom. Played out to Charlie Taylor on the left. Works it back inside again to Mowat. Phillips. Into Malumbi, who gives it back to Campbell. Malumbi, Campbell. Around the corner to Phillips. A little bit sharper from West Brom. Flick ball over the top. He's made the run behind Hegabert. Luke, first touch, the shot! Oh, it's dragged wide by Isaac Price. Again, made that run in behind, and Leicester were nowhere to be seen there, the defence again. They tried to step up. The left back wasn't on the same page. And Isaac Price, just the ball dinked over the top to him. The flag went up anyway, but nice idea. It's got the crowd going, whether it was an opportunity or not in the end, it's certainly given the crowd belief that their team can go and get a second goal. Oh, sloppy there from Mepham. He gets away with it, but could have been more dangerous than it ended up being. Mowat. Swing it out to the left-hand side for Charlie Taylor. Back to Alex Mowat. Leicester need to ride this storm a little bit as Charlie Taylor there stepped inside to keep the ball, and Fatawu with a little bit of a clumsy challenge. Apologies for my nose. Can't help it. 10 minutes gone in the second half, and certainly West Brom have come out the better of the two teams. Now they have a free kick on the left-hand side. Alex Mowat over it. Left-footed, fizzed across the box, and before the ball even dropped to Nat Phillips, the referee had already blown his whistle and given Leicester a free kick. Not too sure what for, but yeah, Nat Phillips, as he tried to skip out to that far right side, he just kind of pushed Boubakary Soumaré over. Not much of a push, but it was enough to see the Leicester man on the floor, and in the end a free kick. Here's Abdul Fatawu. Down the right hand side, swings the ball in early and off the head of Carranza in there, and he tried to win the ball back. Another player on the ground, another defensive player on the ground, and another free kick given by the referee. Nice takedown by Vestergaard. Soumaré laid back by Mavididi and fired down the left channel for Ayew. And once again they try something, blocked out that side by Mikey Johnson as Ayew was trying to play it back to Luke Thomas. Leicester do get the throw, but another fired ball into Soumaré on the half turn, finding Ayew surrounded by bodies, but he comes away with the ball and finding Fatawu. Showed a little bit much there to Elling Jr., but he covered it well. Soumaré out to the left-hand side. And Mavididi tried to skip past his full-back, but wasn't showing the light of day there. It was good work from Mikey Johnson. Laid it off now to Price. And he works it back the way. This game finely poised at the moment. Both sides have created opportunities, and both sides starting to look more of a threat in the second half, but of course the next goal is massive. That's a switch ball out to the left hand side. Look at the space for Charlie Taylor here. He stops on a dime with that touch. Works it back inside to Alex Mowat. Mulumbi. Mowat. He will play it down the left and feeds it in behind for Taylor here. Taylor trying to cut it back. A block, calls a handball there, but seen away by the referee and seen away by Leicester out of their box. Winks, finding Ayew. Trying to spring away on the counter. Feeds the ball in behind for Mavididi on the run, but serenely seen back to his goalkeeper there by the West Brom defence. Price takes the ball under pressure. Bundled over by Soumaré. Free kick to West Brom. The referee just having a chat with Carranza and trying to see who that is for West Brom. Yeah, it was Mepham. Yeah, Carranza and Mepham there, and they kind of had a little go at each other. And Carranza got a little bit silly there. And the referee making sure all is fine and no one gets too much out of control as we play on. Edging towards the hour mark here inside the Hawthorns. West Brom with the lead. Samuel Illing Jr.'s wonderful individual play in the first half, and just as a Leicester player went down there in Carranza, he wanted a foul, and it's actually gone the opposite way, and he's going to get a yellow card for simulation. So he's not been in the referee's good books in the last few minutes, the Leicester substitute, having to measure himself here, but I mean, there's nothing in that. I mean, is there any contact really there at all? Or did he know it was coming and Julian Carranza went down very easily? That's what the referee felt. And he simulated that foul, and in the end, a yellow card and a free kick was given the way of West Brom, and Carranza in the book. Just 15 minutes into his display this evening. So far it's been one of those games where it's been a tough slog for Leicester. Real tough place to go in the Championship. Certainly not for them recently, but for the majority of teams, it's a tough place to go. As Ricardo Pereira penalised for a foul there on Jason Malumbi. Yeah, he just comes in to barge him off the ball. I mean, no attempt to win the ball there at all from Ricardo Pereira. It's definitely a free kick. Well, the crowd certainly believe that their team can get a second goal. Alex Moat to deliver in again, round the back. Deflecting, kept alive. Oh, it's bouncing around. It's terrible defending. The shot hits the side netting. I think it was Campbell in there that had the effort. It was dreadful from Leicester. I mean, you see this again. Moat's ball in. It's hung alive by Nat Phillips, who throws himself. And then Jordan Ayew in there. I don't know what he's trying to do, but what he did was almost give George Campbell an opportunity to fire an equalizer there. Or fire a second goal, sorry, for West Brom, and he hit the side netting in the end. But my goodness, Jordan Ayew was lucky that George Campbell didn't get a clearer shot at goal than that, because that was a terrible bit of defending from him in that area. An awkward one, but dealt with awkwardly. Get a little bit of fortune there, Leicester, and it wasn't a more potent finisher than George Campbell in that sort of area. Here's Fatawu. Trying again to force that one in behind, but not finding its desired target in Ricardo Pereira. Goal kick. Another frustrating moment, you got to say, for Leicester. It seems like at this minute in time, nothing is going in their direction. And that's why they're going to go to the bench again. It's going to be the end of Steffi Mavadidi's night. He's probably been one of their better players this evening for Leicester. He's going to be replaced by young Jeremy Munga, just 16 years old. Highly thought of for Leicester. He came on in that 0-0 draw with Coventry last weekend at the King Power. Got an assist in that 2-0 win over Birmingham. His most recent goal involvement for Leicester. Oh, a little bit of sloppy pass there from Luke Thomas, or sloppy touch anyway. Didn't end up bearing fruit anywhere near enough for West Brom, as again he's only on there, Jeremy Munga, and he's already going to get a foul given against him, and the referee's just going to have a chat with him here. Yeah, George Campbell is the one that went down, and See this again. Jeremy Munga just trying to hold off his man, and there is a little bit of an elbow into his face. It's completely accidental, but it's one of those ones where he does catch the player by holding him off, and it is a foul. It's just unfortunate, but it is a foul. Another free kick for West Brom. This one lofted into the box from the right-hand side, flicked round the back, and Isaac Price had the shot as he was arriving, and it was just held up by Stolarczyk as Leicester spring away on the counter. Here is Munga, jinking past a man, trying to send another one, and in the end wins a free kick on that side. That's what Jeremy Munga's got on his locker, and Alex Mowat was not letting him past, and on that occasion gives away the free kick. Yeah, Munga just tries to drag it back, and leaving a foot in there was Alex Mowat, and that's definitely a free kick. This is the difference that Jeremy Munga can have, really, is the fact that you can create these moments and opportunities up the field for Leicester. Certainly when they need it. Free kick at the round about the byline on the left-hand side, round about the edge of the box as well. Right-footed delivery to the back post, and it's helped on its way behind for the corner. I think, did Griffiths get something to that? It was at the defender, but either way it was a West Brom player, and it will be a Leicester corner. Probably should have defended that a little bit stronger, West Brom. I don't think there was any Leicester player in the vicinity of that ball, and corner, Ayew to deliver, right hand side. And he goes short. Munga back to Pereira, who finds its way to Harry Winks. Back out wide it goes to Ayew. And Ricardo Pereira trying to fire one into the box. Isaac Price trying to hold off Munga. And West Brom able to just about clear their lines. Not very far, there was Fatawi down the right. Breaking past the man, cuts it back to Munga. Munga at the edge, blocked again. Isaac Price clearing away this time. Better from Leicester. Starting to put the pressure on West Brom again. Fatawi down the right hand side. Ricardo Pereira making that run on the inside, and now Harry Winks will try and curl one. And couldn't keep the effort underneath the crossbar. Another goal kick. Yeah, Ricardo Pereira has made those underlapping runs inside Abdul Fatawi a number of times tonight. And this time it was probably their best moment of the second half in that link-up. And as Pereira cuts it back, Harry Winks edge of the box. Measures one up with his left foot. Tries to curl it. And in the end, couldn't keep the shot down as Hegeba tries to get him behind there, but was offside. So 22 minutes to go. West Brom leading by a goal to nil. Looking for their first home win over Leicester in 14 and a half years, which is quite remarkable, really. And their first win over Leicester, West Brom, since 2016, so it's not been a happy opponent they play against, certainly recently anyway, but could that change tonight as Mikey Johnson tried that ball in behind Welling Jr. and the referee, so unfortunately, was in the way of that one. There's very little the referee could do there. He couldn't disappear, but it's frustrating for Mikey Johnson. The referee didn't see it coming, didn't know it was coming, and I'm sure will apologise, but there was very little the referee could do there. Samuel Welling Jr. was given acres of space, and it's unfortunate for West Brom that in the end it didn't really come to anything because of the referee's inadvertent block. So West Brom might go to their bench. They are going to their bench. 2 players coming off the out of the benches there and ready and waiting to return enter the fray. Josh Maja and Callum Styles are the 2 that are on the sideline waiting to enter the battle here at the Hawthorns. Sumari striding forward, skipping past a few, and he's brought down right around the edge of the area by Malumbi. And he's going to get himself a booking for that challenge. Jason Malumbi. Yeah. Great work from Bubakari Sumari, though. Really fabulous from him. And as West Brom are going to the bench, Leicester will too. So a lot of change coming for the final 20 minutes here at the Hawthorns. A double sub for both teams. Although they're going to probably wait till after this free kick, though. Ayew and Thomas over this one. It's Ayew to deliver it in, deep back post, and kept alive. But in there to make sure it got away from the box was Nat Phillips. In there as they're gonna now see the substitutions as Leicester were ready to take a throw down that side. But double substitution incoming then for West Brom. And it's going to see the end of the night for their goal scorer at the moment. Let's have another look at it. Once again, beautiful little ball by Hegebe in behind. Running away from the Leicester midfielders and defenders. Samuel Illing Jr. sends out fast to his backside. And then rolls it into the bottom right corner past a possibly diving at Stolarczyk to give West Brom the lead. And those 2 that were linked up to that shot, Hegebe and Illing Jr., they're replaced by Josh Maja and Callum Styles, respectively. For Leicester, they're going to make a double change. It's going to see the end of the night for Luke Thomas. And as well, Jordan Ayew. So Victor Christiansen and Bobby De Cordova-Reid are coming on. So De Cordova-Reid will replace Ayew and Christiansen will replace Thomas. So a double substitution there for Leicester. And that will be their 4th subs of the night. So they've 1 left. West Brom, they've made a double sub. That's their first 2 substitutes of the night. They still have 3 left. A lot of positives in the second half for Leicester. A lot of positive opportunities. But once again, lacking that final third quality to finish them off. Can they turn it around later on here at the Hawthorns? 2 meetings between these 2 sides in the season before last. Of course, when they were both last in the Championship and played each other, Leicester won by 2-1 on in both meetings, including the trip here to the Hawthorns. They led 1-0 for a long while. Kieran Dewsbury Hall with the opener on the 72nd minute, actually, of that game. Josh Maja equalised on the 89th before Leicester won it in the 94th minute. Harry Winks scoring the winner for Leicester that night to win 2-1 here. That was the last game they had here between the 2 sides. The last meeting between the 2 sides came at the King Power. Here's an effort, but it's seen far too much and opened his body too much there. Ricardo Pereira sent it flying over the crossbar. Yes, Samari did all the work to make sure that he kept it alive, and Ricardo Pereira striding onto the ball, but opened his body too much and misdirected the ball well wide. As I was saying, the last meeting between these 2 came at the King Power in that 23-24 season, in the 3rd to last game of the campaign. Wilfred Ndidi and Jamie Vardy on the score sheet that day. Actually, Abdul Fatawu assisted Jamie Vardy's goal for the 2nd on that day. And Jed Wallace scored the only goal of the game for West Brom. A late consolation, ultimately, in that one for the Baggies, who actually had more shots than Leicester on that day. 18-11. Here come West Brom again. Trying to force the ball in behind. Styles there to his substitute partner, Maja, but on that one, Leicester able to retrieve it and able to win a free kick as well. It is all over in Munich between Bayern and Bremen. Werder Bremen, it's 4-0. Bayern have won. Konrad Leimer with a late goal made it a pretty comfortable victory for the German champions. Linfield still 2-0 up away at Bangor in the Irish Premiership. As here come West Brom. Isaac Price looking to reverse it back the way. 15 minutes to go then at the Hawthorns. I apologise about my sniffly nose tonight. I have no idea what's happened. I was fine earlier in the day. Who knows? Who knows? Again, you never know with the weather nowadays. Flip ball forward here. Fast diving towards that one to try and defend the situation, and in the end, a little bit of battling in the middle. Turns out in West Brom's favour as they work it out to Charlie Taylor. One moment could change this game. Remember, Leicester played Birmingham at home and it was a very tight game. The away side having chances at 1-0 down for the vast majority of that match. And in the end, Leicester were able to come up with a second goal and get the victory over the line. West Brom able to give Leicester a taste of their own medicine tonight. Or Leicester in the mood for a comeback? At the minute, in the judgment of that pass from Christiansen, I would say the former is more likely. Price there, laying it off to Campbell, inside to Mowat, back to Mepham, who works it back to Griffiths under no real duress. Ball forward by Phillips, kept alive. Nice little reverse pass out wide from Maja to Mikey Johnson, who in a tight area gives it away cheaply. And now Leicester trying to make something of this. Abdul Fatawu bundled over by Chris Mepham, and that's going to be another free kick to Leicester, and quite clear that he did push him in the back there. There's no arguing about that. It's definitely a free kick. A little bit lazy really from Chris Mepham. He just kind of shoves him away. It's just a little bit silly. Do tussle with him, but just kind of shoves him out of the way. And all day, every day, that will be a free kick. Another situation which West Brom have to defend. They're only going to go for a two-man wall here. Alex Mowat and Isaac Price in that wall. It's Ricardo Pereira that's over it, so you would feel they will whip it in to a very congested area. Pereira's delivery is to the back post. It's up and away by Nat Phillips on that side. Monga picks it up though. Back to Christiansen. All the way back here for Leicester to the halfway line. West Brom trying to push out to make sure that there's no threat from Leicester here on the ball. That's a lovely little give off and fizzed in by Ricardo Pereira. And to no avail. Goal kick. Well, they will be frustrated tonight, Leicester, that really at this minute in time they still have only had one shot on target. 11 shots, only one on target. West Brom 6 shots, 4 on target. They just lacked that, as I said, that quality in the final third. And that's the difference between the two sides at the moment. A bit of individual skill that has separated these two teams in this game. A quality goal early in the match from Samuel Illing Jr. Set up by Hegerberg. And producing a moment of brilliance for Ryan Mason's team that could get them, as it stands, their 4th win of the season. Christiansen down the left hand side. Monga has to reverse it back to Christiansen again. Leicester with a lot of the ball, but again not able to do much with it there, as that's a little bit of a clumsy challenge by Boubakary Soumare. And that's a free kick to West Brom. Has to alleviate the pressure. Callum Styles, the one that was brought down on that occasion. The referee quite clear in that was a free kick. There's Mepham to Charlie Taylor. Firing down the left channel. Fass has to deal with it and does link it up with Ricardo Pereira. That was nice work from Leicester under pressure there. Winks spins on the ball, finding it back to Vestergaard as we enter the last 10 minutes here at the Hawthorns. West Brom 1, Leicester 0. As it stands, West Brom would jump up to second. Well, that's a ball in behind here. Carranza tried to take the ball with him on the turn, but was eased off the ball fairly by the referee's liking. Although that was a grab, certainly. And a free kick to West Brom. Yeah, we see this again. Carranza trying to hold up the ball. Mepham just... There's a little bit of contact, but I mean, there's nowhere near enough to drag him to the ground there from Carranza. Trying to buy a foul. A very cheap foul. Never in a million years. Well, Leicester going to go to the bench for the final time tonight. Patson Daka coming on for Ricardo Pereira, so a little bit more forward thinking. They're going to make a change in their system, and obviously for an attacker, for a defender, be a little bit more aggressive. As that ball's popped in behind, it's a good first touch, and it's cut back from Maja, whose effort is directed wide, and it's put behind for the corner. That was fabulous from West Brom. Great ball out to the right channel. Here, I think it's Mikey Johnson just making the run off the right-hand side. And the bounce of the ball, it's just really awkward from Christensen. Doesn't defend it anywhere near well enough. And the ball gets fizzed back across the box. It is Johnson. And it's Josh Maja in the middle. Gets the better of out Fass. Throws himself at the ball. And Fass, little to his knowing, deflected the ball behind for the corner. A little bit fortunately there for Leicester. And a corner they'll have to deal with late in this game. Only the second corner that West Brom have had. Only the fourth corner of the night. So not many corners. This is a moment Leicester must come out the better. Campbell, Phillips amongst them in there. Try and give West Brom a little bit of an advantage. Lots of bodies in around the 6-yard box. Left for the delivery, whipped in, but right into the hands of Stolarczyk in the Leicester goal. And Stolarczyk there was about to release the ball, and I don't know whether he was outside the box as he had that one in his hands, but if he did, the crowd certainly thought he was outside the box, as they would, but he was right on the line there. Very lucky. And Leicester, even though they've tried to be more aggressive, they've looked a little bit more desperate rather than anything more threatening. They've committed more bodies forward. They've been kind of tried to be more attacking, tried to be better in the final third, but it's turned out to be a little bit more desperate and a little bit more scrappy from Leicester rather than more composed and professional. And credit to West Brom, because oh, that's a terrible ball back, and there's a shot that's wasted. Wasted indeed by Carranza. He was gifted the ball there in the final third, and he absolutely skied it. Terrible. I mean, it's awful here. Terrible ball back there. Trying to say it might be Callum Styles, or couldn't really see who it was anyway, but again, the shot from Carranza. It was Malumbi, I think it was actually, that he's the one in shot, and a little bit of luck. Terrible ball by Carranza. Kind of say mixed feelings about the Leicester substitutes tonight. Jeremy Munga's probably been the most frivolous to this point. I think we've not really seen much at all of Bobby De Cordova-Reid in this game since he's entered the fray. Oh, that could be famous last words as De Cordova-Reid plays a ball out to Munga. Just keeps it inside the confines of the field. Charlie Taylor having to defend this situation. Munga tries to cut it back to De Cordova-Reid, but intercepted by Price. And now West Brom might be on the move. Maja He's worked an angle to find Mikey Johnson. Price is committed forward. Johnson going himself to get towards the box, and he wins a corner. That's credit to Mikey Johnson there. Could have went for the ball into the box to Isaac Price, but again, smarter play. And he wins the corner instead to keep the ball up this area of the field for much longer. As West Brom will go to the bench again. That's going to see Jed Wallace come on. And that's going to be Mikey Johnson's last involvement to win that corner. As I said, Jed Wallace scored in the last time these two met. It was the only West Brom goal of that game in a 2-1 defeat at the King Power Stadium. And Jed Wallace coming on for the final 5 minutes of this 90 here, with West Brom leading by a 1-0 and with a corner in their favour. A positive performance, certainly in the second half for Mikey Johnson. It's a little bit isolated in the first half, but was much better in the second. When he switched sides with Samuel Erling Jr. Jed Wallace, very experienced head. 31-year-old. He's on here for the final few minutes with a West Brom corner, which Alex Mowat will take on this right-hand side. Will be an in-swinger with the left foot. Again, lots of bodies in the 6-yard box. Mowat leaves it up in the air, and it's glanced and wide. Nat Phillips in there getting his head to that one. Not much power behind it. We'll see it again. He gets up, Nat Phillips, and he just kind of glances it. Not much power behind it. Not much contact really from the head of the West Brom defender, and in the end it sails wide of that left post. But again, another threatening moment for West Brom. Lead in this game, which they don't take, as again, ball cheaply given away down that left-hand side by Fatawu this time for Leicester. Trying those longer balls at the minute, West Brom, and it's getting them some joy at the minute. Nicely controlled by Josh Maja there to keep West Brom in possession as they recycle it back to Mepham. Taylor out to Callum Styles, who on the wrong page there. And Leicester have it back with Jeremy Munga down the right hand side, skipping past a man, and that was a very cynical, although I thought it was going to be a cynical foul. It's actually Jeremy Munga is going to be going into the referee's book for another simulation. That's what it looks like anyway. Yeah, he's waiting till Jeremy Munga to get back to his feet before he does book him, the referee. Was not falling for that one. Well, he kidded me anyway, Jeremy Munga. He's taking his time. Only wasting his own team's time here. And he does get a booking. See this again. To me it looked like a bit of a cynical foul by Mowat, but once again, that's terrible. Absolutely terrible from Jeremy Munga. He was past the man. I mean, he didn't need to go down. Tried to buy a cheap foul, and in the end, actually probably hurting himself in the process here, and gets himself a yellow card as well for his troubles. Gotta say, credit to the referee, because that's two occasions now in the second half where Leicester players have tried to kid the referee into giving a cheap foul, and on both occasions he's been right there to get the right decision. And Alex Mowat there coming off, and Toby Collier on loan from Man United on late here into the midfield of West Brom to try and get them over the line. Bouncing ball, Collier swings a right leg at it. Maja there was further forward, and that's going to be a foul. Yannick Vestergaard is less than pleased with the referee there. And the Leicester captain is far from happy at that decision of a free kick to West Brom. Josh Maja the one on the grounds, and Yannick Vestergaard very unhappy. Yeah, I mean, he's actually going to get a yellow card, the Leicester captain, I would guess, not for the foul, but more for the fact of his reaction to the free kick being given against him. And Yannick Vestergaard is going to be joining a few of his teammates in the book It's the third Leicester player to be booked in the second half. Actually, the fifth yellow card. Sorry, the second half. Before no yellow cards in the first. So referees found his cards at half time. And a free kick to West Brom here, right on the 90th minute. Slightly to the left. And about 25 yards out. A shot low and bundled away and then seen over the bar. Madja was following it in and somehow kept out by Stelargic. He took that really quickly, did West Brom. Yeah, it was the shot right-footed. It's found its way through the wall. Threw himself at it, Stelargic. He bundled it out. Madja trying to follow it up and somehow Stelargic directs it over the crossbar. My goodness. 5 additional minutes then at the end of the 90. That would have been some opportunity to finish it off there if West Brom had found a goal. Leicester pumping it towards the box. Directed away, and now Collier down this left-hand side. Skips past a man. They might be in here. Little back heel there. Here's Collier down the left-hand side. This could finish it for West Brom. Toby Collier just directs it wide of the right post. Really decent effort again. Isaac Price set it up. Cool as a cucumber down that left-hand side. Lovely little back heel to find Toby Collier. All the time in the world. And as he tried to fake the cross, just tried to curl it to the far corner and just didn't get enough curl on it. Nice idea, nice effort, but just not finding the corner. That's 2 big chances in the last few minutes for West Brom to find that second goal and really finish this game off. And they just haven't been able to find it on that occasion. And it keeps Leicester right in the mix. Another ball pumped towards the box. Cleared away again. It's brought down by Harry Winks. Time really running out now for Leicester. Winks out to the left-hand side. Tawu goes for the deep cross into the box, and it's directed behind by Mepham for the corner. 3.5 minutes to go. Leicester with the corner here on this left-hand side. No time to waste here for the Foxes. Looking to avoid what would be a 3-game winless run. Certainly lose only their second game of the season. It would be if they do fall foul of this result. And Sumari there having a chat with the referee. Getting very aggressive with Toby Collier in and around the West Brom goalkeeper Griffiths. So corner, left-hand side for Leicester. Everybody almost into that 6-yard box, and it's cleared away at the near post by Styles, I think that was, and Leicester recycle it out to Fatawu. Works it towards the box, leaves it hanging to the back post, and the shot has found a way in, and it is an equaliser, and it's Bobby de Cordova-Reid levelling for Leicester City. They've barely been near the goal for the second half, and in the 93rd minute, Leicester find an equaliser. Another late goal against West Brom to try and get something at the Hawthorns. And that is going to be a real killer for West Bromwich Albion. They had unbelievable chances to find a second goal. They couldn't take them. And it's hung up by Abdul Fatawu to the back post. A really good strike, off balance by Bobby de Cordova-Reid. Swings a right leg at it, connects with it beautifully, and it's directed in by Nat Phillips. That's a real killer. Yeah, directed it into the mix, and Nat Phillips. It wasn't going in otherwise. And that's going to be an own goal, I think. And that is a real killer. West Brom 1, Leicester 1. A slice of luck for Leicester. The game's not over yet. But I think it might just be. And it is going to be a Nat Phillips' own goal. And those big missed opportunities will be massively remembered now. Because West Brom could have been on the verge of a massive 3 points against Leicester at home. Something very rare in recent years. As I said, this would have been their first win over Leicester at home in the league in 14 and a half years. And a very happy hunting ground for Leicester. Although they're not going to get the throw in there in the last minute. There's going to be a yellow card coming out here. Another player in the book. It's going to be Fatawu this time, who finds the referee's book. His second yellow card of the season. Is there one last chance in this game to come? Another twist laid on as Vestergaard and Fash should just see this one back to their goalkeeper. And Stolarczyk, as the 5 minutes are now up, is time up in this game. It's up to the referee now. There's a goal scored in additional time, and now the brick of the ball here for West Brom in the Leicester half. Can they keep it alive? They have kept it in play. It's a hopeful ball forward towards the box. Here's a shot, trying to come and couldn't find the shot in the end there, Campbell. And he thought he was going to leave it to try and win a corner, but in the end it goes for a goal kick. And that's really not swung the way of West Brom on that occasion. And Ryan Mason will look on and wonder what went wrong, how this game got away from his team. You got to argue on the day Leicester have continued to find the box and try and work an angle, but to no real joy. And there's the final whistle. A probably fair result in the end on the balance of things, but it's a heartbreaking way in which West Brom throw away 2 points. A late own goal from Nat Phillips means it is a denial of 3 points for West Brom. Stunned is the manager Ryan Mason, and Nat Phillips and a number of the West Brom players. Josh Maja will reflect on a big missed chance for him. Toby Collier had a chance as well for the Baggies to try and bag 3 points, but in the end it is Leicester that pull it out of the bag, and a little bit of luck in the end that goes their way to get a big point on the road in a game which really, in the balance of things, it was probably a fair result, but Leicester probably didn't deserve a point, if you get what I mean. Their attacking efforts really didn't show enough quality in the end. But the dominance they had in this game probably deserved a little more than what they produced. Credit to Bobby Deckard over Reid. It was a good acrobatic effort that set up the opportunity to put it in the mixer. And in the end, it's Nat Phillips that it bundles off and into his own net. Again, a bit of luck that will go Marty Cifuentes and his team's way. But West Brom, it will be a night that Ryan Mason will be stunned as to how his team didn't come away with 3 points. And he's still shaking his head in disbelief as to how they threw that one away. Final score at the Hawthorns under the lights. The Championship always gives us something to be excited by, and tonight it certainly has. Final score, West Bromwich Albion 1, Leicester City 1. And there you go. That is our first result of the weekend in the Championship. And West Brom failing to get back to winning ways. And it's now a third successive draw for Leicester, which is another little trend that is seemingly emerging. 2-2 draw with Oxford, 0-0 draw with Coventry, and now a 1-1 draw with West Brom. Leicester winless in 3 consecutive league games for the first time since March of 2024. In the Championship, that is. West Bromwich Albion, of course, failing to get the job done on the night. As I said, that late own goal from Nat Phillips was enough to get Leicester a point and to steal 2 points away from West Brom, who were jumping up to second with a victory this evening, but they sit in 6th after tonight's action. Let's just show you how the table looks then. After these two have locked horns tonight under the lights at the Hawthorns. West Brom sit in 6th, as you see. Leicester move up the table to 3rd as they convince their 3rd successive draw in a row. Middlesbrough still lead the way, as do Stoke. They're the top 2. Leicester in 3rd, Bristol City in 4th, Preston in 5th, and now West Brom in 6th on 11 points after 7 games. But it will be a real stunner and a real question mark going into the next few days and across the weekend is how West Brom didn't find a second goal or even didn't get the job over the line. But at least it's an end to that 2-game losing streak and a point nonetheless. But as I said, in the context of the game, they'll be disappointed they didn't come away with all 3 points. That's the way the table at the top half looks. After the Friday night action, 11 games to come. All the rest of the match day 7 games in the Championship all coming tomorrow, and they'll all be done and dusted by 5:30 tomorrow evening, and we will be able to recap you on that during our coverage of Nottingham Forest against Sunderland tomorrow evening. But some interesting, tasty fixtures to come for you tomorrow, which you can see there in front of you. None other than Middlesbrough. Their trip to Southampton, which is one of keen interest. Middlesbrough unbeaten this season in the Championship, along with Coventry, who are unbeaten. Coventry 1-2 and drawn 4. They host Birmingham as well tomorrow. So some interesting fixtures there to come tomorrow. And can Sheffield United get their first point of the season? They're the only team in the division without a point this campaign. 6 defeats out of 6, just 1 goal this season for Sheffield United. Seen the return of Chris Wilder once again. Ruben Sayes sacked after 5 games this season, and they head to Oxford tomorrow, who also find themselves in and around that area of the table. Right, that is it from us tonight. Don't forget tomorrow lunchtime though, we're in West London as Brentford take on Manchester United in the lunchtime game in the Premier League. That is also followed by evening action from the City Ground as Nottingham Forest host newly promoted Sunderland. And the first time we'll see them this season on LFS Sunderland, and we can't wait to watch that one. That's tomorrow at 5:30 as well. That is it from us tonight though. It was a real shocking end for West Brom, and one that they will still be going long into the night wondering how they didn't come away with 3 points. They had it in the bag, but Leicester in the end pulled it out of the bag. A little bit of luck. Nat Phillips with an own goal, rescuing a point for the Foxes. Good night.